Thanks for your support as a channel member, Dave Beasley. I don't know if that was a good transfer window or not. I've just signed about 30 players, released about 20 of them shortly afterwards. I think I've improved the team. I have no idea, and most of them are older than me. Tier 10 is mad. But if you are looking forward to seeing our new signings and the first couple of games of the first season, make sure you leave a thumbs up on the video. If we could hit 2,000 likes on this video, that would be sensational and much appreciated. Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Bourne Legacy. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our first couple of games ever. Our first ever competitive games away against Rushden and Higham. I think I've decided it's Higham and not Higham. It could be Higham. I'll call them Rushden. And Burton Park away as well. Since you were last with me, I will show you the transfers in a second, but I think a more useful way of seeing the transfers is what the transfers have done to the season preview, because we've now gone up to second favourites for automatic promotions. And is that Gareth Jellyman, who used to play for Posh? My word, how did I miss him? I should bring him in. I saw him play at Wembley in 2000. This level is it's basically old men, as you'll see from the signings that I've made. But we do now have 2 players in the Media Dream 11. Our new goalkeeper, Chris Winterton, who is one of the babies of the group at only age 30. 5-star goalkeeper, previously done the non-league tour, but never played quite as low as this level before. And I feel like he is quite the coup. And also, John Boardman, 38-year-old centre-back, is the best centre-back in the division, and has been a manager already in his career. He's already managed one club. He was player manager of Hungerford for a year, having been there for many years. Presumably got sacked as player manager, which seems a little bit harsh after he'd been there as long as he had. Sack him and don't let him play anymore. But I mean, he was previously playing in the National League South. So again, this is a huge drop down the divisions for him, which is why, despite being 38 years old, he's still showing as one of the best players in the division. So the actual transfers that we've done, and these are going to be constantly ongoing, it's the nature of this level. The first thing I did is ask my director of football. Bearing in mind they didn't exist. When I say ask my director of football, and we'll get to that in a minute, you can do suggest transfer targets even when you don't have a director of football. So I did that, got a load of trials in, signed the ones that were better than we had. That was that first batch. I did then eventually appoint a director of football. As you can see, we're all over the place here. So much news. Guillem Balaguer off of the telly is my director of football. Previously director of football of Biggleswade United, where apparently in real life he's actually the chairman. But in game he was a director of football, and we poached him because he was quite a good one. So he's my director of football, and his job is building the rest of my staff. So it's not his fault that we brought in this first batch of players, because to be honest, we can pretty much pick any of these at random, and I think I've probably already released them again. I've done the dirty on all of these players, whereby took them from the club they were previously at. Oh, there you go, we kept one. And then binned them off again when I was done with them. But as you can see, because of the way football is at this level, a lot of them are already finding new clubs. It's a player merry-go-round. But once that was done, we then slowly started getting scout reports come in, and it became very clear that bringing in the likes of 19-year-old Dave Robinson is not how you assemble a good squad in Tier 10. You bring in old men. No, not him. The one I was aiming for was Shuka. There he is, Chris Shuka, who is someone, again, another player in the Julian Jochem mould, who I'm pretty sure I've seen play. He probably, when he was, I guess, at Tranmere, he's a player I would have come against, or maybe Barnsley. So lots and lots of Football League experience. Has recently dropped down the leagues. Not played since 2017. So I guess he's probably retired in real life, but out of retirement and playing for Bourne. And there's just lots like that. I'm not going to show you all of them. What I'm going to do is introduce you to them as they make it into the first team, rather than showing you 30 players that have arrived. But what you can see as well, if we look at released players, we have also released some of the players who were here when the game first started, and a lot of the ones we've brought in. If they ended up like James Kearns as an example, if someone came in and then I signed 2 or 3 players better, I just want to bin them off, because what I don't want to do is be way over my wage budget. It says I'm over at the moment, but all of these are non-contract players. So what it actually means is if everybody gets their average contribution. What I mean by that, hold on, let's pick a player as an example. We're trying to sign a physio apparently. Just pick a player, any player, Kev. Oh, there you go, Fraser Papperell. So let's try and sign him. We're probably not going to actually sign him, but once you... he's probably actually quite good. I'm going to ruin being able to sign someone who's probably any good. But when you're going to negotiate a contract, you obviously have the non-contract stuff and the appearance fee and all that stuff. And down here, behind me... Get out the way, Kev. Your chair's probably stood in the way. Behind me, it says what the wage budget cost is. So it says £25 a week as wage budget cost. And it's effectively taking an average of how often the game thinks he's going to play. Because he actually made demands, I'm going to assume he's quite good and just bring him in without scouting him. And the joy of non-contract players is if it turns out he's rubbish, we can literally just release him again and it doesn't matter at all. So we'll just take all these in on trial. There's going to be a lot of player churn this season. But enough of transfers. We're going to go and play a football match. And we've got a couple of tactics that we're training. We don't want to get too confusing. We've got a wing play tactic and we've got a route one tactic. We're doing a 4-3-3 at the moment, mainly as a way to get Lloyd Ward into the team, because he can't really play in central midfield. But he is our most promising youngster, I would suggest. Only 16 years old, not much in the way of current ability, so it might be a system that we abandon fairly quickly just to bring more old men in. But rather than having 11 38-year-olds, I'd like to develop a couple of our youngsters. So at the moment, we've built an entire tactic around Lloyd Ward and the fact that we don't really have any central midfielders still. If we have a look at our central midfielder strength, Chris Shuka's a winger. I guess Chris Ring can play in the middle there, but Collis is a right back. Everitt's a left back. So we still haven't really got any really good central midfield players. So, yeah, it's very much a work in progress. So we've got Winterton in goal, the new goalkeeper. Best goalkeeper in the division. At least we know he's any good. We've got Adam Everitt, a 37-year-old, playing at left back for us. He has previously been around a bit throughout non-league. Over many years. Boardman you've already met, playing alongside Liam Francis, who is only 29. What a baby. Another one who's done the non-league tour over the years. We've got David Collis at right back, who you've met very briefly, but 37 years old. Lots of non-league clubs. Are you spotting a theme yet? Ward we already know about. Shuka and Ring we already know about. On the left wing we've got Rory Hill, only 29. Also not great, only a 3-star player, but lots of non-league clubs again, as you would imagine. Tom Byrne on the right is 31 and a 3-star player, and lots of non-league clubs. And then lastly, up front, we've got Donovan Simmons, who's 30 years old, a 4-star striker, and again, lots and lots of non-league clubs in his history. Plus, he went on holiday to Malta 10 years ago and played a couple of games of football while he was there. Julian Jochem is still around and he's sat down on the bench. Remember when he was a 5-star player? It shows how much we've actually upgraded the squad. If you just look at the squad like that, you could easily incorrectly say, Kev, that squad doesn't look like you've made it better at all. But because all the star ratings are relative, because we've brought in some players who are really good, like Winterton, like Boardman, it's pushed the star ratings of everybody else down. So, for context, Julian Jochem, a month ago, was a 5-star player in this team. So, anyone who's now got more than 1.5 stars of current ability previously would have been the best player at the club. So, that is, if you look at the team that's starting today, aside from Lloyd Ward, who's the only one who's not at that level, everybody else is significantly better than what we had when I arrived, even though there's some hugely varied abilities within that. So I'm really happy with this team. But as you can see, our pre-season form was a little bit hit and miss. We enjoyed our trip to the seaside. We've not had a lot of fun since then. So I have no idea how competitive we're going to be in this league. The media say second, so Mick Powell is looking for mid-table. Oh, and in other news, there's already rumours we've got a board takeover. Why do I bother? So let's get into the game anyway and see how we get on. Hopefully there's not going to be a takeover. I mean, in the database, it shows Simic Powell took over a month ago. I don't know why he'd sell straight away. I gave him a loyalty of 20. Right, with the favourites here. Go out there and give the fans a performance to cheer for. We're only favourites because we've signed a bunch of old men. Why are we so far out? Apparently Rushden have got an enormous stand on this side that we're sat at the top of. I mean, look at this for a tier 10 ground. We all saw in episode 1 what Abbey Lawn is like. It's nothing like this, but clearly Rushden playing in a mansion. I wonder if they're playing in the old Rushden and Diamonds ground, which presumably has been knocked down by now, but that was always quite an impressive facility for the level the club were at. I went to a couple of away games there with Posh over the years, and it was always quite fun because it wasn't a million miles away. But I think last time I heard, even though it was a really new ground, like less than probably 20 years old, it had basically been left to ruin, which is a shame. But we've gone 1-0 up. Tom Burn is the first goal scorer of the Bourne Legacy. I wonder how many more he's going to go on to get, or whether he'll have left within a month. Because that's the other thing. You might think I'm bringing in a lot of players, but there's already a couple of these that are having offers from other clubs as well. It really is. It's fascinating. I wonder how many players we're going to get through this year. It seems even crazier than what it was like at home. And if you remember the early days of home last year, we had some serious player turnover there. But I think it's going to be even more impressive here at Bourne, which amuses me greatly. So we're 1-0 up at half-time. We have some absolutely shattered players. But, I mean, what do you expect, really? David Collis is 37 years old and hasn't played a game of football for 4 years. We're playing him at right back. Oh, and he's our captain. I mean, he is previously a manager of another club. So that's why... Oh, no, that was Boardman. Was Collis a manager? Were they at the same place? Hornchurch. Is that where Boardman was as well? No, Hungerford. They both begin with H, therefore, basically the same club. But Alan Carter is an example of someone who's already potentially on his way out. Several clubs coming in, making offers for him. He was one of the Bourne originals, and looks like he's already leaving. We're not going to make any changes at half-time because, I mean, I don't know who's any good. I don't know if any of them are any good. Did I even do a half-time team talk there? I do not remember doing a half-time team talk. I don't know if I've autopiloted through it or because I was messing around pressing the buttons. Maybe I've just somehow ignored it completely. I hope I've not ignored it completely. Some quality defending there from Bourne. And it looks like Rushden are trying to come back at us here. There's Collis. Look how mobile he is. 37 years old. He's the same age as me. And I tell you what, I'd be below 57% conditioning at this point of a football match. So he's doing better than I am. Simmons is in, and Donovan Simmons has his first goal of the season. I'm putting a lot of weight on his shoulders. I think he is going to score goals for us if we can keep him around and make this system work for him, which, I mean, it's all built around him. It's all about big balls wide out. It's all about big balls. It's all about big balls wide to our wingers, whip it in for Simmons to tuck away. It's not quite how that goal worked, but I'm not going to argue because we're 2-0 up and top of the blooming league. Collis now with a corner. Probably should take him off corners because it will save his tired legs from running up and down just to take the corners all the time. But we've got a penalty and Collis is exhausted. We don't have another right back. Just have a sit down. I mean, there's no reason for you to be on your feet while we're taking a penalty. Have a little rest. Conserve your energy. Chris Shuka, you're 37 as well. Don't be running to celebrate. Get some of the younger ones to carry you back into our half. It's all about not losing from here. Rushden 0, Bourne 3. This is lovely, lovely, lovely stuff. Oh, bless him. I've got to take Collis off. I've broken the man. He'll never play. He won't be fit for a month now. That's it. I've absolutely ruined him. Carter can come on and play his one and only game for us at right back, even though he can't really play there. But we're 3-0 up at this point. I'd like to think we're not going to mess up. Lloyd Ward is tired and not playing very well. But we don't have a defensive midfielder knocking about the place. I'm tempted. I want to bring Julian Jochem on. Just because I'm still loving the fact that he's here. So let's get him on as a winger on that side. A 44-year-old flying winger. And they do need a bit of praise, actually. Let's make sure to give them their praise. Everitt with the free kick from range. And it goes just over. We've dropped our praise. Everybody's fired up. Everybody's shattered. I'm tired just watching it. I'm going to be really interested to see how fit Collis is going to be for the next match, because I suspect he's only going to play one in every 4 or 5 games just because fitness. But I don't know that we've got a backup right back. I don't think we've signed one yet. I don't remember. Did we have one here before everything, before all the transfers happened? I don't remember. Final substitution. Moulton's going to come on in midfield. He can't really play there, but I am of a mind that it doesn't necessarily matter at this level. He'll be able to run around a bit in there, and that's probably all he really needs to be able to do. A position's that important in tier 10. We mentioned, was it in this episode or the last one? It all blurs together how I played one game for Blackstones nearly 20 years ago. I don't even remember what position I played. I was just sent on. I don't know that they told me a position. I was sent on to mark a player from the other team. Came on as a sub, like half an hour to go. Just mark this lad, and I just followed him around the pitch for half an hour. He shoved me at one point, so I was being so annoying just following him around. I guess you would say I was maybe playing as a holding midfielder, but I was literally just following this other lad around. He hated it, and I never got asked back to training. So don't know that I necessarily did what I was supposed to do. I think I took the instruction a little too literally. I was probably supposed to play in a position as well. Not Kev. When you ask Kev to man mark, Kev man marks. I thought we were going to go 4-0 up there, but 'twas not to be. Francis heading forward to Julian Jochem. Ball over the top, looking for Simmons to chase, but he doesn't, because he's probably tired as well. But you know what? We've won 3-0 on the first day of the season, the first day of the save. There's 233 people turned up for this match. Do non-league matches really get over 200 fans? That seems staggering. I think I thought we'd given away a penalty, but in actual fact, it's a free kick, and it was a terrible free kick. And I think that is probably that. And that is about as good a start to life at Bourne as we possibly could have hoped for. If we play that well every match, we'll win this league. We're playing again in 3 days. Let's play who's going to play at right back. Just between matches, it's just occurred to me that everyone at this level is on non-contract. So what's to stop me at least offering them all a trial, and anyone who's any good, we poach. Yeah, I'm an evil monster. But, I mean, let's face it, if these clubs are dumb enough to let me take their players on trial, their best players, then they deserve to have them poached. I'm not going to do... I could, if I really wanted to exploit the game, because obviously the game's not built for this level. It is a bit exploity. But I'm not going to go and do this to the other 10 leagues at this tier, because it's a little bit unrealistic for these players to travel that far. We need to try and keep some realism on this. I mean, the fact that he's come from Lewis, is that how you say that? That's down near Portsmouth, isn't it? Is that right? Or Brighton? It's South Coasty. Bognor, Whitehawk. You can see there you go. Brighton, Eastbourne, Lewis, Whitehawk, Bognor. These are all within driving distance of his house. The fact that he's signed for Bourne, utterly absurd. He wouldn't do it in real life. But I don't want to be in tier 10 forever. So I'm going to sign him. But I'm not going to go and do all... I'm not going to... see, they don't want to let me have them. Oh, actually, a couple of them I could get. It feels wrong. But at the same time, oh so very right. The answer to who's going to play at right back is David Collis, because he's got the healing factor of Wolverine. He's up to 85% conditioning again already. Why is it saying he's not fit? Fitness test not required. Yeah, he's fine. We have made a couple of changes for this game. Bevan comes in at left back. He's actually a player I've just signed in between the two matches. He's actually a centre back, but he's also by far and away the best left back at the club as well. So he comes in at left back. Everitt, who was playing at left back previously, can slot into that defensive midfield position, where he's in that position comfortably better than Lloyd Ward, who was there before. So Ward can drop back down and hang out with the youngsters again. I mean, plus it would have been harsh to drop Everitt after an assist, a man of the match, and an 8.2. So we'll give him the chance to keep his spot in the side, playing in this role. He also fits in as the ball-winning midfielder. Ahead of them, we've just made the one other change, which is Moulton coming in on the right-hand side, who is the player who I signed initially as a striker, but we brought him on in central midfield in the last game, and now he can play in his natural position for a match out on that right-hand side. Rosco De Seine is the other player that I've just brought in as well, a 38-year-old striker who scores goals, scores lots of goals. Will he score goals for us? Well, he's not going to get in ahead of Simmons today because we know Simmons is a hero because he scored in the last game. But fingers crossed, we can pick up another win. Another win would be absolutely delightful. Go out there, carry on from where you finished off in the last game, which would be lovely. Burton Park is who we're playing. Burton Park, trying to find them. They are down in 14th at the moment. Obviously, it's the second day of the season, so you can't read too much into that, but it does mean they didn't win their first game, whilst we did. Ring now from midfield, lumps the ball forward, looking for Simmons, and Simmons does collect it, and he's absolutely skinned the defenders there, but unfortunately his finish did leave a little to be desired. Wasn't the finest finish you'll ever see in a game of football, but you know, we're creating chances. Creating chances is always good. Collis, I love David Collis. He's my new best friend. I might make him my new assistant manager. I'll have to check with Guillaume Balaguer though, which I'm baffled by that. Sir Mick Powell found him, and I wasn't going to argue. I'm pretty sure Sir Mick Powell just turned the telly on and had a little look. We'll offer him a job. Yeah, welcome to Tier 10, everybody. So we have a little look at this goal we've just conceded. So hits the post, one clearance into a player, second clearance into a player, deflects into the goal. We're 1-0 down after 24 minutes. It's some pretty poor defending. We didn't deserve... I mean, they did nothing to earn a goal there other than just have players stood in our area on the off chance that one of our players kicked the ball into them. And somehow it happened twice. But just like there's going to be lots of player movement down at this level, I suspect there's going to be lots of inconsistency around form and performances, and it's all going to be it's going to be a super fun adventure. I loved it. It's so long since I've played. Obviously home was this time last year, was the last time I was anywhere near this level. I've never been down in tier 10 before. It's fun. Russell Moulton, I said I signed him as a striker, and there you go. He's applying a finish to a cross coming in from the left-hand side from Burn. And, he finished it like a striker. It's Burton Park 1, Bourne 1, puts us back up to third place in the league. Simmons has picked up a little bit of an injury, so we might be seeing, I don't remember what the new striker was called, De Seine, or was that his first name? No, De Seine. There we go. So he's going to be coming on in the second half for Simmons because there's no point keeping a player on the pitch who is not fit to play. David Collis is just looking at me as if I've vomited on his half-time chips. Yeah, unlucky boys. Things haven't gone right so far. Well, I mean, John Boardman, weren't you? It was you and him are the ones who caused the goal. You're the reason it was that we were unlucky. Do you want to take the team talk yourself just because you used to be a manager, Mr. Fancy? Right, De Seine is coming on, and let's see how a 38-year-old striker who's not match fit performs. I'm having so much fun. Oh my word. Let me know down in the comments if you've managed at this level before, how you go about doing it, because I've never seen anyone else do it. I've never watched any tier 10 content. I've never experienced it in my life before. I'm just kind of basing it on what I see on my scout reports and bringing in the players that seem to make sense and not worrying too much about dynamics or anything like that. Familiarity, just if I find a better player, sign him. If I sign too many players, release a few, and just have a revolving door policy. I'm the Harry Redknapp of tier 10. Burn now on the left-hand side. plays it all the way back to new boy Bevan, and that is how the move ends, almost as if he's a centre-back playing at left-back. Shuka's in, though, and Chris Shuka has his second goal of the season. We saw him score in the last game. He scored again in this one, and just after the hour mark, 63 minutes on the clock. Burton Park 1, Bourne 2, and it's a nice, tidy little finish from Shuka. All that hundreds of games of Football League experience behind that finish. And it looks like, as a result of that, a number of our players have switched off, almost as if they feel like the job is done. The job is clearly not done, because we're only 1 goal to the good, and we've already seen that we could have defensive nonsense happen at any moment. Talking of defenders, that's probably where we need to be making some changes. Bevan is not having the best of games. We're going to bring Jake Oliver on for him. Jake Oliver is 22 years old. I think he's one of the players who was here when I arrived. He was a Bourne original. And we're going to bring Carter on for Collis again at right back. He can't play there, but he did just turn down all of those moves, all those clubs that are in for him. He turned them all down. So he obviously wants to be here. So we'll let him fight for his place and prove that despite being a centre-back, he can play at wing-back, and that's how he's going to fight for his place. Winterton with a very solid save. It's going to be handy, I think. Having the best goalkeeper in the division is going to be a distinct advantage. Moulton, big ball forward looking for Burn, and it's cleared by their keeper, but only as far as Oliver, who plays it forward to Burn again on this left-hand side, who's got space to find a cross. Cross comes over, Moulton's there, and the header is just over. And lots of complacent defenders. The last thing I want is complacent defenders. Do they not remember how our goal was conceded? Boardman plays it to Oliver. Oliver, again, this is what I'm talking about. This is the route that we're looking to play. Long balls out wide, and then apply finishes. Tom Byrne, a second goal of the season for him. And it's Burton Park 1, Bourne 3. And now I think I can drop a little bit of praise again, because we are... Certainly these first couple of games, even when they put up a little bit of resistance, we seem to just be overpowering teams with our old men. The question is going to be how long some of them are going to last for, because presumably they're going to deteriorate very quickly as the season goes on. It's rare to have a 38-year-old player still be anywhere close to as good on the last day of the season as he was on the first. They'll go downhill fast, and we're going to have to keep bringing in replacements for them. But for now, the tactic of bringing in old men seems to be working. And De Seine has looked very useful, linking up play. It got the assist for the Burn goal, was involved again there, and looks like another useful signing. But we've got another highlight here, 84 minutes on the clock, and it's Burton coming down the right-hand side. Is that Burton as in Burton-on-Trent? Because that seems like a long way away to be playing in this league, but it's a terrible defensive header. But Winterton, once again, showing why he's the best goalkeeper in the United Counties League Division 1, which is, I mean, that's something to I don't know. I don't know where that sentence is going. Oh, my word. I mean, it's lovely. It's lovely. You can imagine him telling his mum, I'm the best goalkeeper in the United Counties League Division 1. She's just going, I wish you'd get a real job. Why are you driving all the way up to Lincolnshire every Saturday? We live in Eastbourne, for goodness sake. Stay down. Stop messing around playing football. Stop driving all that way every weekend and get a proper job. Jamal Morel has just got a goal back for them. Oh, I should probably stop mocking my goalkeeper. He's got on strike there and let one in. Say that about me again, boss. And I'll keep just standing there and watching goals go in. Fine, being a footballer is a real job. You'll be telling me YouTube is a real job next, for goodness sake. I should probably tweak something. Feel like I should probably do some managing, but I mean it's a lottery at the moment. I've got to learn the players first. That looks like a lovely little clubhouse they've got behind the goal there on that little terrace. Very, very pleasant. There's some lovely facilities down here in Team 10. I assume these are all accurate representations of the real-life grounds. We'll find out in the next episode when we play our first home match. And we did get away with that today. We're good going forward. We're a little bit iffy going back, which is weird considering, according to star ratings in the Media 11, our best players are all at the back. So I guess it's just a sign of the division that we're in. But I think my plan is play a bunch of games, because it very much seems like, I mean, if we carry on playing as we are, we should steamroll through this division, which, like I said before, Football Manager is not really built around playing at this level. So it is, if you sign the right players, I don't want to say easy to get promoted because I've never been down here before, and I'm basing this on winning the first 2 games. Next time you see me, we'll probably be 11th. But for now, I'm going to class that as a lovely start to the season. We'll play through the rest of August, I imagine, and we'll come back for another couple of matches tomorrow. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Remember, trying to get to 2,000 likes on this video, so much appreciated if you're helping us get towards that total. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, 2 a day at the moment. Oh, I'm spoiling you. And thank you very much for watching.